Welcome to Hwaseong Fortress. I'm your guide, Jinso. And today I'm going to tell you about background of here, how scientific here is, how outstanding it is, the structures of here, and finally, how it can be designated as UNESCO World Heritage. Before we start, I'll tell you a small information about the Hwaseong Fortress. Here is in the city of Suwon, which is around 30 kilometers south of Seoul City. It takes an hour to get here by subway and bus. And the wall is measuring 5.7 kilometers long and varying between 4 to 6 meters in height. Suwon Fortress was constructed in 1700s in the reign of King Jeongjo, who was the 22nd king of Joseon dynasty and who was led the renaissance of the Joseon in art, math, science, and whatever. There was multiple reasons why it was built. First, it was built for his father, Sado Crown Prince. He opposed the ruling party Noron. At the time, the Noron was a powerful ruling party, so he was victimized for the factional fighting. So his son, the Jeongjo, tried to reform to minimize the factional fighting. And it was also a response to the collapse of the Korean First Line in the Japanese invasion in 1902. Before this war, there was no the war in Joseon dynasty for 200 years. So fortresses in Joseon dynasty was just simple war for town. But after this war, King Jeongjo thought the fortress to the south is important, so it includes defensive features a lot. It is believed to have been constructed very scientifically. During construction of the fortress, Jang Yeong-sil invented many machines. Jang Yeong-sil was a person who was a law statue in Joseon dynasty, but King Jeongjo thought he was very smart, so he was a work for his country. And he was a person who was interested in practical learning and encouraged the use of science and industry. He made a 거중기 and 농로. 거중기 was a machine which was used to lift heavy things, and 농로 was a machine that used to move heavy things to the high position. It is same as jeep crane today. These two machines use a pulley system. A pulley system makes it easier to lift an object than lifting weight by hand. If one movable pulley is used, only the direction of power was changed. But if there are more than two movable pulleys, the amount of force required to raise the object is cut in half. So it greatly reduced construction time. It was expected to be built for 10 years, but it was constructed only for 2 years. This is something different by working around the world. Yes, right, it's the color of the flag. There was 5 colors which indicate the material of the universe and the direction. in Asian culture. The yellow was a color which represents a soil and a symbol of the middle. As you can see, from the west gate to the north gate, there was a white color flags and they represent the metal. And the blue color represents the wood or the tree. And from the east gate to the south gate, you can see that color. And red represents the fire, and from the south gate to the south gate to the west gate, you can see that color. And finally, the black color represents the water, and from the east gate to the north gate, you can see that flag. The Suwon Fortress is a flat and mountainous fortress which cannot be found in other neighboring countries like China and Japan. It was constructed for dual functions, the military defenses and commercial functions. With its scientific, rational, and practical structures, it can be called the finest among the fortresses in Asia. The wall was filed applying the method in which, while outer walls were piled up, the inner walls were made by raising the grounds using the natural features. Influenced by the Shilhak, which literally meant practical studies, and was a scholarly and social movement in those days to find a practical challenge in real life of people avoiding unrealistic philosophy, controversies in Confucianism, and various kinds of advanced technology. Makes use of bricks and stones, device of the war to pour hot water to enemy soldiers climbing the wall. The creation of 거중기 or crane and wall piling with wood and bricks were actively applied in constructing the fortress. It can be regarded as a rare super example of fortress construction technology of Asian fortresses. And now I tell you about how it was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 1997, it was designated as a UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site. It's because it has great records of Hwaseong Fortress construction named 화성 성역 의궤, which was published shortly after King Jongjo died. It proved invaluable for the reconstructions in 1970 after the fortress had been seriously damaged during the Korean War and the Japanese colonial era. It covered the plans for building this place very detailedly and the implementations of the building too. It includes the King Jongjo stream, and it also shows us it takes 6 million won to build this fortress, and without it, this place would not be existing. And still now today, it is recovering for unbuilt place still. Now I'm going to tell you about the military systems of Suwon Fortress. There are many things such as gate, the guard tower, signal chimney, and airing firing set station. Most of them I want to tell you about the signal chimney the most. Signal chimney was a communication system when there was no phone. In the Joseon Dynasty, people used smoke or fire to send a situation to other. So it was located in the high mountain. At night, by fire. In the morning, by the smoke, people send a dangerous situation to the middle of the country. Yeah. And every day, people usually set one fire. And when the enemy appeared, there was a two fire. And when the enemy come closer to the border, there was a three fire. And when they come across the border, there was a four fire. And finally, when the war was broke out, there was a five fires. And thank you for listening.